Welcome back to Studio B. I'm Carol Daniel, and I want to count to 9 for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A woman in the U.S. was just abused. Every 9 seconds, the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence says a woman in this country faces domestic violence. Joining us is a woman who, for 20 years, dealt with domestic violence, and that's not all. She has a book out now, and it is called For Your Glory, A Journey to Forgiveness. Joining us is Rhonda Lynette. Rhonda, thank you for your time and for telling your story.
Hi, Carol. How are you?
Well, I'm good, and I know you're better.
Yes.
When did the abuse begin, in your marriage or before your marriage?
It actually started probably about 5 years into the marriage. It didn't start right away. Everything seemed to be okay in the beginning. It just gradually kind of gotten there.
How bad did it get?
Oh, it was really bad. It was more verbal abuse than it was physical abuse, although I did experience some physical abuse. But you know, verbal abuse can be, it can tear you down really bad.
It does tear you down. I mean, it tore at your sense of self. What questions did you begin asking yourself when he would abuse you verbally?
Why? Why did I continue to allow someone to treat me this way? Why didn't I feel that I deserved more as a woman in itself? It was just made me feel that I didn't really have a sense of self-worth at all.
One thing that we read a lot in different accounts of domestic violence is men who do it, women who cry, men who apologize. Did you go through that cycle with him?
Of course. So many times, I can't even tell you how many times he apologized, and I just kind of made excuses for it, and everything would be okay, and then we would end back up in that same space again and do the same ritual all over again.
What is fascinating to me is that in writing this book, this is really, for a lot of people, the first time you've ever said it all out loud, and this is obviously in a very public way. You kept it to yourself.
I kind of told a little bit to my family, but for the majority of it, I kept it to myself. My children, they knew what was going on. They were younger, but as they got older, they could see actually what was going on.
What were your thoughts about that, knowing that your daughters, just daughters, correct?
Yes.
What your daughters were hearing and seeing from their mother and their father?
It was very hurtful, and actually that was my main decision for breaking or divorcing my ex-husband, because my youngest, I could see how it was impacting her, and I just did not want her to live in that capacity anymore.
How was it impacting her? What did you see?
She was angry. She was angry at him because he was treating me the way that he treated me, and she started to take up for me. And I did not want my child to have to be in that environment where she was taking up for me from her father.
So there was the verbal abuse for years and years. Then drugs enter the picture.
Yes, drugs actually entered the picture 5 years into the marriage. Actually, I believe he may have been doing it before. I just was not aware.
What was he doing?
Crack cocaine was the choice of drug that he did.
I think one of your chapters is called My Car for Crack. What is that chapter about?
That chapter is about him taking my car, and I guess he pretty much sold it to get high, and he didn't bring it back. So the person did not bring it back. So I'm not sure exactly what actually went on. When he came back home, I just did not have a car.
I want to jump forward because you're with us today. How long ago did you divorce him, and how are you doing today?
We've been divorced. We've been divorced for about 2.5 years, separated for 3 years. And I am doing great. I'm doing better. It's a journey. I'm healing day by day. I just continue to pray and make better choices for myself, for my family, so that I can be a better person.
I remember reading an article years ago in Essence magazine about the amount of unresolved hurt that a lot of us carry. Are you carrying unresolved hurt still, or are you trying to work through it?
I am actually trying to work through it. That was the reason why I decided to go ahead and do the book, because it's a healing process for me. I'm not sure exactly how long it will take me to heal, but I am continuing to do everything that I need to do to be healed totally.
Some people, and when I wrote a book, and you and I have the same publisher, it was therapeutic, and it was to put some things down on paper. I had a lot of tears about reliving certain episodes of my life. Did you deal with the same, have the same reactions?
Yes, it's different when you are just telling someone your story, and then when you actually see it on paper. It just brought up, for me, it brought up a lot of emotional scars that I really had not addressed, that I needed to look into being resolved.
You mentioned that your youngest daughter was beginning to defend you, and she was angry. How are they now, and is anybody getting counseling?
Right now, she's not getting counseling, but like I said, we pray a lot, and she is doing great. She's a sophomore in college, and she's forgiven her father, so I would say she's doing pretty good right now.
That is a subtitle, a journey to forgiveness. Did you think you ever could forgive him?
No, I did not, because the abuse was really deeply rooted within myself, and I had to get to the place where actually I had to forgive myself in order to forgive him.
There are a lot of women, I counted to 9. There are a lot of women and some men, clearly, who are in abusive relationships. I know we focus a lot on celebrities, and we spent a lot of time last year on NFL football players and those episodes, but it's very common in our community, in our society. What would you say to people who are in the situation you were in for 20 years? What would you say to them?
I would say that you are more than enough, and that you deserve to be treated better. You don't deserve to be put down or looked down upon at all. For me, I would say that they would need to, I would say what happened for me, I had to pray. So I would encourage someone to do the same, to find their self-worth, because if you find your self-worth, you'll be able to have the courage and the strength to be able to get out of something like I did.
When I call you courageous, what does that make you feel? It looks like embarrassment on your face right now, but I'm calling you courageous. What's your reaction to that?
I don't know if I would call myself courageous. I just did what I felt was the right thing to do for myself and for my family.
That would be the definition of courage. Okay. Okay. Well, it is such a joy to meet you. And you did tell some people, did they not help you? Did they not know what to say? Were you sort of secretive, really? You weren't really telling people what was going on?
I did kind of sort of told some of my family members, but being in a relationship, you kind of allow others, you kind of allow yourself to really not share as much to get others involved, and that's pretty much how it happened.
No more secrets, people. Thank you so much for joining me on Studio B, and I want to say good luck to you, but I just want to say you keep being courageous.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We'll have a link for you on how to get Rhonda's book, For Your Glory, A Journey to Forgiveness, right here at KMOX.com.